Alright, so we just finished this detail page. Now we'll work on this add post page. Alright, for this first thing we need to create a page. In pages folder, I am going to create a new page. Add new item dot and MAUI content page, add post page. Save it, and we need to have a way by which we can come to this page. So on the home page, we have our uh, plus this image, this icon. So we are going to use this only. We'll say controls white image dot gesture recognizer and tap, not gesture, tab gesture recognizer, and we are going to use tabbed command for now. Later we'll use mvvm for this. Now let's go this and let's change the name. We'll say add post tabbed. This, save it, go back, change this, save it, go back, and here we'll say await. Basically we'll copy this thing, and instead of post detail page we'll say add post page. Now we need to register this page to routing, so we'll go to app shell.xaml.cs, and here we'll do this routing.register route, name of add post page, type of add post page. We have added this to routing, and now from here we can directly go to page. We have this page. Now we'll start designing this page. So let's run the app, we'll see the UI, and we'll start designing. It's here. Let's get started. Log in, and on the top, if I click on this, it should go to this add post. All right. First thing, we'll change the text title. We'll say create post. Okay. Now inside this, what we are going to have, we are going to have the same image, username. Then we are going to have one editor to let the user to write post text. Then we are going to have image preview, and then we are going to, at the very bottom, we are going to have two buttons. One is for add photo and one is for post, submit the post basically. So that is what we are going to do in here. All right, so let's get rid of this vertical stack layout. Then on this page we can directly have a padding of, let's say, 15. Then inside this we are going to have a scroll view to allow a scroll. Inside this we are going to have a grid, okay, with the row definitions, auto for the user image and user name, then star for the editor, then auto for the image, and then one more auto for the buttons. Then let's have row spacing as well. Row spacing 5. And now inside this, first thing, we need to have our user name and user image. So this we can get from our main homepage. Right there we had our username and image in this grid. So we had border and we had this username. Here is the username and these labels. So we'll get rid of these labels. We'll just have border and grid, this one. So just copy this grid, paste it here, save it. We can see this. Now here we don't need this dot and this text, the date time, so we can get rid of these two things. Now because this label is directly a text, so there is no point of having this inside this grid. So we can simply cut this label, remove this grid, and after border we are just going to have a label with grid dot column 1. Then we need it vertical spacing as center, and we are good. Okay, image and then name. Now we are going to have our editor. So after this first grid for user, we are going to have a no border editor. For that, that is going to come from our controls. So we need to add the namespace XML NS controls and our controls. Here we'll say no border editor. This should be grid dot row 1. Save it. Grid dot row 1. Grid dot row 1, right? Star. Take everything. We don't have the background color, right? We need to have it. So let's go to the app.xaml. We set background color for no border entry here. So same thing we can do for this, or maybe we can get rid of this from here. We can directly add that background color here because we are not using editor anywhere else. So it was same light golden rod yellow. So save it. And now we can see this, right? And here we can have placeholder which would say, let's say, start typing dot, save it, and we can see this tool, and we can see this everything, it looks fine. Now after this control, if let's first work on the bottom buttons, then I'll work on the image preview section basically. So for the buttons, we can have multiple approaches. I'm going to have a flex layout here. We'll say flex layout. It will be grid dot uh, row. It will be 0 1 2. This is for image preview. So this last row 0 1 2 3. So it should be 3. Inside this I'm going to have two buttons. Okay. So first button text will say add photo. Okay. Then I'm going to duplicate this. This we are going to say post. Save it. Then in this flex layout, we'll say justify content space between. Move these buttons on each corner, left and right. Okay. And after that, this button, let's make it rounded. So we have style. We can say static resource rounded on post. Then we need to have some padding on this. So what I'll do to make it a bit bigger, we can simply say padding, and let's say around 50 comma 0. So 50 from left and right and 0 from top and bottom. So it will use the default padding whatever we have. All right. After this button add photo, I want to have one image and then text. For this I'm not going to use button directly. Instead I am going to use a border here. Okay. And inside this border we are going to have two items. Before that, let's give it appearance of this rounded border. So we'll say stroke shape round rectangle, and we can have something like maybe 5. 5, and then here we can say stroke, which will be the border color basically. So static resource primary. All right. Then inside this we are going to have horizontal stack layout. Let's have some spacing of 2. Then we are going to have one image. We have primary color image, right? So let's use primary color image. Source will be, I think, photo.png. I do this, yes, we can. On this we are going to set height and width. So height 25, same width 25. So save everything. And after this image we are going to have a label with the text add photo. Save it. All right. Vertical options at center on both image and text. Then let's increase the spacing. Instead of 2 we'll have 5. Save it. And then on this border we can have some padding. So let's have padding of 15. Now 15 from left and right, and let's say 5 from top, which is fine. All right. Okay, these are looking fine now. This does not look smooth from the right. So let's have some margin or some spacing from the right. So here we can say padding 0 from left, 0 from top, say 1 from right, bottom, 2 from right. Maybe it is because we are rounding these corners, it is kind of getting out of this the vertical line. Maybe that's why. So with this we are okay. Add photo and post, we are. Now we are good with this bottom section as well. Now we just want to have the image preview section. Now when we'll work on the functionality, then we'll have that logic that when we choose a photo, then only that section should come. If we have not chosen any photo, then this will take the entire height to this editor. This is how we are going to implement. Right now we are good with this. After control, now we need to have our image preview. So for image or selected image, we will give an option to delete the selected image as well, remove the selected image. For that we are going to have a grid here, and grid dot row, this is from parent, it is this one, 0 1 2, grid dot row 2. And for this grid we are not going to define any row or column. We just want to have image, and on top of that image we want a delete button on top right. Okay, stacked on top of that. So here first thing we will have an image. We can say image source, or maybe we can have the similar approach we are having for all the images. We are going to have a border. Okay, with the stroke shape we can get rid of the stroke shape, we are not using it. We'll just say stroke thickness as 0. The background color we are having, what was that, light salmon, right? Okay, then inside this we are having our image. For our image, on this border let's have some default height, let's have 250. And in this image this will be dynamically the source will be dynamically generated when we'll select the image. But right now we'll have some static image here. Let's say, I think we have bird1.jpg. Do we? No. Bird underscore one. Have this. All right. So save it. We have this image, and for this image also we'll set the same height request 250. Now after this we want to have that delete button. So we'll have that in here in the right top section. So again I tried image button, that is not giving the output which we want. That's why what we'll do, we'll simply have a border again, and this time we'll say stroke shape. We can have maybe round rectangle 5, and on this we are going to have height request, let's say 40, width request 40, background color as our static resource and primary color. I did save, right, background color static resource primary. Inside this I'm going to have an image with source trash.png. Save it, and we can see this here. We need to move it to the right top. For this border, what we'll do, we'll say vertical options as start and horizontal options as end. Is there? After that, this image trash.png will say height request as 18, width request as 18, and we need to have this white color image. So instead of image, we'll use white image. Cool, we can see this now. Now we'll have some shadow on this border. We'll say border dot shadow, and let's have just default shadow. All right, then we'll remove this the stroke from this border. So we'll say stroke thickness as 0. Now we have this delete button here. Okay, we can have some margin from right, or let's say just margin 1 from all the sides, 2, so that I just want to see if everything is looking these rounded corners and all, and we are okay with this. Save everything, and now we are good. Cool. Now the logic to make it dynamic, that when we have image then only it should come, that will work later. Right now we are good with this create post page, as this page is done. Now we'll see next what page we want to work on. So we'll pick maybe one of these notifications or this profile. All right.